Hello and welcome to Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life. This is Jared, and as always, I'm joined by my partner, Johanna.
Hey, Johanna.
Hi, Jared.
What are we going to talk about today?
Do you need a class?
What? To teach?
No. Basically, teachers don't have hobbies. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah. Do most adults not have hobbies? Is this an adult issue?
I don't know. What's a hobby?
A hobby?
Like model rockets?
Yeah, a hobby is that thing you do when you're not working that lets you create.
Is the couch a hobby?
No.
Because I'm creating relaxed humans.
No, the couch is not a hobby.
That's my creation.
Okay, so here's the problem with teaching. You go to work and then the energy is sucked out of you, and then you go home and you basically manage. You're like a tired Wally, and you manage with whatever energy you have, and then you go to bed and then you repeat, and it is emotionally and physically exhausting.
Yes, this is definitely unique to teaching. No one else goes to work, comes home feeling drained, goes to bed and then does it again. That's definitely a teacher thing.
Teachers, and maybe other people in other professions do this too. Teachers can't stop thinking about their day.
Teaching is hard to leave at work.
Yes. So it kind of consumes their mind. And so a lot of teachers that commute appreciate the commute because it's where they let go of their work. But teachers who have kids or teachers who have second jobs or whatever, they always have the best intentions during the summer that they're going to keep, because during the summer, they'll start to develop a little bit of a hobby. They'll start to develop something that they enjoy, and then they are going to come up with the best plans to keep doing that once the school year starts, and then by September 15th, it's done for. Basically, it's our New Year's resolution time, right? Everyone else, it's January 1st, but for teachers, it's as soon as the school year starts. They have an idea about how to keep this summer euphoria alive, and then they don't.
Yes.
So I have a solution.
You have a solution?
I do have a solution. You need a class.
What's another question mark podcast with a clear answer?
Yes. Yeah. You need a class. You need a class. Even if you have...
You said not to take classes during the summer, though, just a couple podcasts ago.
Not to take classes like you're going to go learn something that doesn't bring you happiness.
All right, so what are you talking about then?
I'm talking about you need an art class. You need a workout class. You need something where they are expecting you to be there. And I don't mean I like to go to the workout that's at 6 a.m. That's not going to cut it. Because if you don't show up at 6 a.m., is anything bad going to happen to you? Is anyone going to contact you? Or
it's like me in college.
Yes. You need
In high school, if you don't go to class, something bad happens.
Correct.
In college, nothing bad happens.
Right.
Therefore, it's very easy to not.
Right. So you need to take the summer to get yourself, whether it be an accountability partner, because everyone else is not a teacher. So if you stop showing up, they're going to be where are you? Because they won't care that your school year started. So I think a class is kind of the best way to do it. But if you get yourself some solid accountability partners.
What about like a volleyball league?
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Take the summer and sign yourself up for some stuff that you're not going to want to do once it comes around time to do it. But you're in it. You've committed to other people that you are going to go do this thing. It can be a couple of times a week. It can be a couple of times a month. But it is a thing you are committed to.
So I'm hoping I'm not ruining the big reveal, but this is also that you can do a better job of leaving your work at work.
Yes. You
Because you'll
have to
be forced to.
Yes. You will be forced to, and when you show up, you won't have the energy to do it. But once it's all done, you'll have found energy, you'll be relaxed, you'll hopefully have laughed and smiled and enjoyed being around other adults, or you've enjoyed something that is like you created something. It needs to be 100% just about you. And the summer is the time. If you have young children, like when our kids were really young, we didn't have money really to pay for daycare. So the summer was the time when I could get really creative about what courses to find and when I was going to take them so that the schedule's all aligned, right? Now's the time where you can be creative to find solutions to make sure this is done.
Let's talk about leaving your work at work a little bit.
Okay.
Because a lot of professions have that to some degree or another. But the devil in it is you think that, well, if I don't continue to work, at least in my mind at night, I'm not doing as good a job as I could. It's kind of the trap. It's like if I just ignore the problems of the day and the problems of tomorrow and don't pick them up again, I'm not working as hard as I could. I'm not doing as good a job as I could. And so I feel like obliged to try and be a good teacher in this case to keep it going. But it's a trap.
I'm not sure you're right. I think teachers, in my experience, relive things that happened during the day and think about what they should have done instead.
Well, that's a different kind of trap. You should have your counselor help you with that.
Yes. See the previous podcast about how you need a counselor. But it's just teaching is hard, and you're working with human beings in a way that, and you have to work with them again the next day. So you're trying to figure out, what happened? How could I have prevented it from happening tomorrow when it happens? How am I going to handle it? It's just, it's all cycling in your head.
Well, having self-reinforcing negative thought emotions like that never is productive.
No.
Definitely you want to stop that by any means necessary. Thinking about what you could do, or doing grading, or so that you can do more student focused things when they're there and stuff. There's other activities you could be doing that are working outside of work to try and be better the next day you're at work. But you're saying that's not really the problem. It's just they're just filled with anxieties about what already happened that they can't do anything about.
Anxiety is the right word. Yes. Lack of control, lack of feeling like you're going to have control in the future. Because at the end of the day, these are human beings that you can do a lot to influence how they're going to behave, but a lot is outside your power. I mean, what they go and experience outside the school day is going to come in and impact the type of day that you have the next day. And so it kind of fills your head. And by getting yourself an activity that you are forced to do, even though you don't want to go do it, it will give your brain something else to think about.
Because those types of anxieties perpetuate themselves. Because you feel anxious, you think about it. And because you think about it, you feel anxious.
Yes. And then the next day you go to work. You're going to dream about work because you haven't stopped thinking about it. And then B, you're going to go to work never really having left and taken a break. I mean, if you're a parent, if you have young kids, you were stressed and anxious the whole time. If you don't have young kids or you live by yourself,
But going to the class where you learn to tie fly fishing flies.
Yeah, or whatever.
Where you're going to it interdicts these self-perpetuating bad thoughts in a way that lets you then say, okay, now I left it at work.
Well, then you'll start just thinking about the class that you just had.
Right.
And it gives you something to look forward to. So you won't want to do it. You won't schedule it later. So now's the time. Summer you needs to take care of school you. And that means just like a kid, like if you have young kids, you are signing them up for different activities through the Parks and Rec to keep your kids busy. You need to do this same type of self-care for yourself and get yourself signed up for some classes. Like, I don't know, go learn a language, go do something physical, but make sure it's not like, oh, well, I could just attend. You want it to be like,
you'll be missed.
Yes, it needs to be something where you will be missed.
Okay, more to say, or are we going to recap?
No, I think that's kind of it for that part. But now we're going to switch gears, which is, do you need a class, but you need to teach the class?
Huh?
Well, you're a teacher, right?
Well, I'm not.
No, but
Ostensibly, one is, if they're listening.
So a great way to make yourself, like part of the stress of teaching is that we love teaching and we love teaching motivated learners. But sometimes we don't have motivated learners. So Parks and Rec, they are always looking for people to be teaching courses. So like maybe...
Or like coaching.
Yeah, or coaching. But I recommend kind of staying away from little kids. I recommend staying away from parents. I recommend focusing on adult learners or older learners. So if you don't want to take a class, but you have a skill or a knowledge that other people would enjoy, offering a class can provide the same benefit.
Sure.
And it's a great way to make a little, just because you're a teacher, you'll have trust me, if you call them and you're like, I teach at the local middle school or the local high school and I want to offer a class on blah, 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 they'll be like, okay, let's put it in the catalog and see if people sign up. Like you have an instant in. It's no work.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they'll expect you to be there. You'll have to go. You'll have an extremely enjoyable teaching experience. Adult learners are
because they're self-selecting as highly motivated.
Yes, they tend to be retired.
I mean, they wouldn't be knowing. There's absolutely no reason for them to be there except because they want to.
And they'll take a course over anything. You can offer a course on how to set up an email account, and people will sign up and take it. Like, you can offer a course, like if you're a history teacher, you can offer a course that discusses history. Like
the way you want to.
The way you want
like
to.
Like you always wanted to.
But it is fun. I mean, you have knowledge. Like offering a course. Okay, I said stay away from parents, but this is the exception. Offering a course to parents on like how to teach your kid to read. Like people will sign up for that course, or offering a parenting course in general. Like people will sign up for your course. It will fill your bucket that's kind of how I got involved with teaching teachers. Like you love the act of teaching. And if school is feeling hard and stressful, one of the greatest reliefs it's kind of like when you're a secondary teacher and you have like that class period that you like just look forward to every day.
Because it happens to be filled with highly motivated learners?
Yes, and it's just a pure joy to teach them. Like, I'm telling you, it is worth, the summer is the time. Figure out what people might be interested, reach out to Parks and Rec. Worst case scenario, you have 4 interactions. Like, they tend to be really short, too. So, like, if you know, like, well, this month I wouldn't want to do something, you tell them how. I mean, a lot of Parks and Rec will even let you do like a 1-day Saturday, hour-long course on whatever. Pick a craft that you're going to have, people do or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, it's tons of fun. So if you don't want to take a course, then I would say offer a course, and it gives your summer a little bit of purpose.
Okay. Recap
us, Jared.
It's a pretty simple recap. Do you need a class? Yes. But really not class again. It's an organized activity where you'll be missed if you don't show up during the school year.
Correct.
And this is going to help you have something to look forward to and help you leave your work at work.
And it's going to force you to make time for it because, like, we know you don't have time. Like, we know you don't have time. If you have multiple young children, you definitely feel like you don't have time. But during the summer, you have the ability to carve out the time as long as everything is scheduled in advance.
Right.
Yeah.
And it could be a pottery class. It could be
it could be through your church. It could be
a rec league.
Yes.
Or adult, whatever they call it. When adults pretend to play sports and then go drink beer afterwards.
Yes. It could be that you find like a cycling club, like not like the cyclists that sit on the bikes, but like the cyclists who go to the cycling, or you can find running clubs. I mean, Facebook is full of these opportunities, and it does take time to kind of research and find them, but you got to get yourself like, I mean, it's why people used to do, what's that called? Lions Club, which I think you could go find Lions Club, but like.
That's still a thing, I think.
Yeah, it is still a thing. We know someone who's a member, but you feel like your world is too busy during the school year, and so therefore you would never do something like that. But
it's a trap.
It's a trap. It is too busy in August to ever find anything like this, or September, or October, or November. It's too busy. But during the summer, you have all the time in the world to find something.
And you should. Or even better, maybe, if you're up for it, if this is the kind of thing that appeals to you, is you can, instead of take the class, you can offer the class.
Yes, or the club, or the activity, or the event. Yes.
And even though this sounds dumb, because you just said the whole point is to leave your work at work, and you're like, oh, well, do more teaching then. But the trick is, don't teach kids. You're going to teach adults who are self-selecting into your class of how to make a friendship bracelet, or I don't know what classes are. Give me some classes.
That you could teach?
Yeah.
Anything. Whatever your content area is that you teach,
should be
someone wants to know about it.
Pretty easy to name something.
How to prepare my kid for kindergarten. People will sign up for that course. Like, or how to teach your kids to be independent at home. Like, people will sign up for that course. People will sign up for whatever your content area. Like, it's simple if you're like something like Spanish or art or music or woodworking. But I'm telling you, like, people want to know how to do it. Like, for example, I would take a course on how to change my oil. I don't know how to do that. Like, it's
simple. You just take it to the place and they do it.
Worst case scenario, you create a course and then no one signs up.
And then you don't have to do anything anyway. And this accomplishes all the same goals, basically. Others. Plus, if you do have a class, you've got highly motivated learners in it, and that's refreshing. It fills your bucket back up, because a big part of the things that take out of your bucket in your day job is the consequences of having unmotivated learners mixed in, right?
Yes.
If everyone was highly motivated, you wouldn't have those problems of leaving your work at work that this is designed to help with in the first place.
Yes.
And so getting to experience a class full of people who just are the only reason there is because they want to learn the thing that you're teaching is a bucket filling thing.
Yes. And even reaching out to your local nursing homes, they are always willing to bring people in for classes. Even if the class you're offering is like puzzles and you're bringing puzzles, or it's bingo, or fill your bucket in a way by having something where you're forced to go do it. And at the moment, you won't want it when it's on your schedule, but after you do it, you'll be so glad it was there.
All right. Well, thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Jared.
Joanna, do you get questions from listeners ever?
Yes, we do.
How do those listeners send you questions?
They send us an email.
Where does that email go?
teachertalk4teachers@gmail.com.
But wait, what kind of 4? How do I do 4?
All of the 4s. They can do a number 4. They can write the word FOR, or they can do FOUR, even though that one doesn't quite make sense.
Well, perfect. teachertalk4teachers@gmail.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Jared.
Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life.